Shall we begin?
Why not? Welcome to Frankie Sense and More. It's like she's got a whole lot of goodness for you with a little bit of sass.
Frankie, did you just say...
She sure did. Not to mention, along with...
Whoops.
Join us now as Frankie Picasso and her new co-host mix it up with authors, musicians, and interviews with world-changing people.
Let's begin, pal.
Okay, let's begin now, because it only makes sense.
Shall we begin?
Why not? Welcome to Frankie Sense and More. It's like she's got a whole lot of goodness for you with a little bit of sass.
Frankie, did you just say...
She sure did. Not to mention, along with...
Whoops.
Join us now as Frankie Picasso and her new co-host mix it up with authors, musicians, and interviews with world-changing people.
Let's begin, pal.
Okay, let's begin now, because it only makes sense.
Well, hello there. This is your host, Frankie Picasso from Frankie Sense and More. That's what you're listening to. And my co-host, Fred Byes here. Say hi, Fred.
Hello, hello. Hello, everybody.
We've got a great show for you today, for sure. We have Mary L. McCarthy. She's with us. And Gabriella Van Rij is with us. But first, we have to hear some good news from Fred, because we have to have good news. This is about the good news show, I think. Right, Fred? What we got today?
I love this piece. So today's global goal number 10 with reduced inequalities. That's right. The title is Sparkle Effect Gives Students with Disabilities the Opportunity to Cheer. Sarah Cronk started a cheerleader team with 12 girls, both with and without disabilities, at Pleasant Valley High School in 2008. And the team has since grown into a nonprofit called the Sparkle Effect. The girl is now 23 years old, and she grew up watching her brother Charlie who is on the autism spectrum. He struggled socially, especially when he started high school. But when the varsity swim team invited Charlie to sit with them at lunch, Sarah noticed that he suddenly had a safe place to go to every day. And this story deeply impacted her. And when she made varsity cheer as a freshman, she wanted to find a way for students with disabilities to be able to get involved. And then she started an inclusive team called the Sparkles, which is the first inclusive high school cheer team of its kind. And she began fundraising through donations. And today there are more than 150 inclusive cheer and dance teams in 30 states. And, students with disabilities are now in drama club, on the newspaper staff, and participate in choir. And, her goal is really to keep growing and reach schools everywhere. So it's a nice little story there for
I love that. I love the diversity. I love that, they're being inclusive. And I know that's part of Gabby's mandate too. Because, the one leads to the other, especially with, they could be bullied, but instead they're being included. And so that's a really great thing. It's November, and every month has, its own particular special date for things, So November, there must be like 20 things that November is, but two of the things that November is National Adoption Month, which Gabby can talk to you in a little bit, but it's also Life Writing Month. And it seems so appropriate for our guest, Mary, because Mary is a best-selling author and the founder and chief inspiration officer for Create Right Now, Journaling Power Center. Now, her unique self-help memoir, Journaling Power, How to Create the Happy, Healthy Life You Want to Live, topped the Amazon charts when it was released just this past September. And in it, Mary reveals how she reversed her MS symptoms through the dynamic power of journal therapy. She also became a singer. So let's welcome Mary. Say hi. And Gabby, as usual, feel free to speak up when you feel the need to. Welcome, Mary. How are you?
Thank you very much, Frankie. I'm doing fine. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you,
perfect.
yes. Yeah.
All right.
So your life seems to be divided into part one and part two, before MS and after MS. You were like a type A personality, ran a very successful company, and then you got your diagnosis. Is that a fair statement?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Okay. So tell us about what you did before your diagnosis?
Excuse me. I ran a management consulting firm. I worked with manufacturing companies, Fortune 1000 companies, and they were located in really exciting garden spots like Trona, California, and El Dorado, Arkansas. And what we did was my company helped organizations use our human resources, if you will, to move the bottom line. Historically, most business people are very involved with money, but they don't normally see the relationship that if you train people, if you support people, if you redesign their work or you get them participating in the process, you come up with all kinds of money-saving, wonderful ideas. So that's what I did, and I spent my whole life, probably for about 20 years, on an airplane every Sunday night and every Friday night. So, but then it's like when I got the diagnosis, it was like, oh, thank goodness, it's time for me to get off the road.
Yeah. Yeah, and you really transformed your life. I mean, it couldn't have been easy being, a go-getter, go. And then here you are now actually becoming more reflective, definitely more reflective. And you started to journal, and through your journaling, realized that, things were transforming and changing for you to the point where after 12 years of taking medication, you actually were able to stop taking your medication, saved yourself like $100,000 by doing that, and really reversed a lot of your symptoms. That's pretty incredible. It says a lot for the power of writing. So tell us a little bit about how you figured all that out.
It's very, I think everything is synchronistic. During the process, probably 4 or 5 years after my diagnosis, I lost feeling on the right side of my body. So I had to teach myself how to write with my left hand because, being the left brain go-get-'em career woman, even though I was off the road, I had to have a procedure. So again, synchronistically, I ran into a young lady whose sister was a novelist and swore by The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And I love that. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Oh, I read the whole thing like I think 3-4 times, and my book is so underlined that it's not usable.
Absolutely.
Dog-eared. Yeah.
And like I said, and that's where I found out about morning pages. So I thought, oh, that sounds really easy. Like I said, a good procedure and very easy to do, and no pardon the pun, no brainer first thing in the morning. And so I just started in the process, and I mean, it became a really spiritual, mystical experience. I started having all kinds of memories from childhood. I started hearing rhymes and starting writing poetry. I'd never written poetry before. And I became left-handed very quickly because in the process, I remembered that in the early stages of Catholic grade school, I was left-handed and the nuns changed me.
Yeah, typical.
I have a question because in the beginning you said you were a go-getter, and then you got a diagnosis, and it was like, oh, it's almost like it sounded like it was a relief on some level.
Oh, it definitely was. It was.
How so? Explain us. Explain that.
It was, like I said, to me, I just really, I was just completely run down, and at that point, from a personal level, I had no clue who I was. I was just so much into, running, wanting to see the world, wanting to all that, make money and all that kind of stuff. But it's just like, oh, well, I guess too. But part of the thing when I got the diagnosis, my biggest concern was that I had an inoperable brain tumor because I was banging into walls and doing all kinds of crazy
That's
stuff.
Scary, yeah.
It was so, but like I said, it was relief. Once
you go, oh, it's just MS. It's not a brain tumor.
That's exactly my reaction. It's just
right.
Oh my goodness! It's like, oh, okay, I know about it. I've done MS walks, all the. So I was like, yeah, like I said, once my biggest concern was like, oh my, I thought this is. I knew it was a wake up call. But like I said, so I thought, oh, okay, so I can deal with it, and it's like, plus the fact that there were no known drugs for it and no known it didn't require surgery, so I was really relieved on that. So it's
Mary,
just,
can you tell the folks, what MS is like for everybody, not just for you specifically, but what people could expect if they had a diagnosis with MS? What would their bodies do or feel like?
It's really called and known as the designer disease. It really operates completely differently in every single person.
Right.
Like my brother had it, and he had they're finding more and more. There's a genetic marker in that some people have that, so it's not unusual to hear that a daughter was diagnosed, and then a few years later a mother was diagnosed. So so there is some type of genetic familial aspect to it.
Does it show up at a certain age usually?
Historically, it has been like postpartum, like when late 20s, early 30s. But now they're finding that there are kids, there are seniors, like well into 70s and 80s. So it's become a very, like I said, it's an autoimmune disease. So it's just, and so I think they've just gotten better with our diagnostic things and just really finding out. So like I said, it's historically, because like my eye doctor told me when I was soon after diagnosed, because I was just 40. He said, "Oh, Mary, you're too old to have MS." So, but it's like now, but now, like I said, now they've done articles and they're like teenagers, children, and like I said, older people. Because I had my mailman told me about his aunt who was just diagnosed. She was in a nursing home, and she's in her early 80s. So.
Oh, wow. We're going to go to a commercial break in just a minute. But I just want to say that Mary has sent me, her book and some of the writing materials for the journals. And for anybody who is interested in that, I highly recommend, her materials are fantastic. So we're going to tell people your quickly, if you can, Mary, your web address. They can check it out during our commercial.
It's createrightnow.com.
So write with a W as in writing. Great.
Correct.
So createrightnow.com. Go there, check it out during our break. We're going to go to commercial. We're going to come right back with Gabby and Mary and Fred and
Frankie
I.
Sense and More. We'll be right back after we pay the bills.
It's words you never heard.
Derek Thompson, co-founder of the Save the Elephant Foundation, was taking a rescued elephant named Kamla for a walk along the river. As they were walking, Derek decided to stop and take a dip in the water. But when he called to Kamla, who was waiting on the shore, the elephant thought he was in trouble and came running to his rescue. Kamla charged through the water, sheltering him with her body and offering her trunk for him to hold on to. What's another word for a trained elephant? A kunki. Elephant trainers in Asia are known as mahouts. And the padded seat or saddle used to ride on an elephant is called a howdah. Kamla and her mother, Bai Tui, are among the 70 elephants the foundation has rescued since its inception.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
Many men and women drink diet sodas almost on a daily basis because they have 0 calories and are thought to be harmless. But the truth is, they are not harmless. The University of Texas found that people who consume just 3 diet sodas per week were more than 40% more likely to be obese. The artificial sweeteners that are in diet sodas lead to hard-to-control food urges later in the day. Another study by Purdue found that rats who were fed artificial sweeteners prior to mealtime took in more calories. Every once in a while, drinking a diet soda is fine, but if you're having them on a regular and even daily basis, it's time to switch to water or green tea. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond. To hear other fitness and weight loss tips, visit our website at AnnetteHammond.com.
We're coming back now. Here we go. And we are back. That was very quiet coming back. I don't know why. Something seems to be up with our system today. Very low for me anyway. Maybe it's me. I don't know. But Gabriella Van Rij, she's back. She is our own ball of sunshine. And you might remember that Gabriella visited us just before her Dare to Be Kind tour in October. She is a global activist for kindness. She traveled through the U.S. during October, speaking to young people in schools about her anti-bullying mandate. Now, Gabriella says that as a race, we humans have dropped the ball on kindness, and she wants each and every one of us to pick it up and give it a whirl. Welcome back, Gabriella.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me again.
Our pleasure.
I enjoyed the Dare to Be Kind campaign. It depends who you ask. My manager, Bobby, is still exhausted. I loved it. I jokingly say sometimes to her, it was like a vacation, and she goes, "Oh, brother."
So how many schools did you get to visit?
How many schools, Bobby? Five times that we were at school, so less than you would want. But it was kind of amazing that people were so receptive. The momentum started quite quickly. Now, one of the things, and I told Fred this, we were drowned out a little bit by the election.
Yeah.
You know? Meaning, normally I get an enormous amount of TV during a campaign. Small stations, big networks, and this time it was really hard. But believe it or not, Univision started picking up the ball by the time we were in San Antonio, which was really awesome. Scary for me because I had to revert to Spanish, which is my first.
Oh, wow.
Still learning it. So, but I did it, and by the time we were in Houston, I visited a school. I also donated the books, the children's books, to libraries in schools. And then, as you know, Frankie, my humor is a bit warped. I slapped a lot of people with kindness, with our kindness slap band. So
okay.
I could find a teacher or some willing human being that wanted to listen to our spiel and that would let them be interviewed. You know, not everyone is comfortable with being interviewed. And so every time there was a person that said, "Yeah, sure, I'll talk," I said, "Okay, you're going to go on audio here, and I'm going to slap you with kindness, and can we put video on?" And they said, "Why would you slap someone with kindness?" And then I said, "Because I want you to remember. I want you to remember the huge impact kindness has for the whole life as the receiver." Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Gabriella, on your blog, you write that you went to Verizon, and the manager called the corporate office to see if you could donate 40 gigabytes for the next 4 months, and you said you would come back to us. You would, did it accept? Did it work out, or did you get an answer?
Corporate office did not answer, but you know what? It was really neat that he at least tried. Because one of our biggest issues, believe it or not, we use like 70 gigabytes. And the reason for that is all the video uploading on a Dropbox.
Yes.
It's not just creating the videos. You've got to upload them for the team to then be able, even all those little segments of 30 seconds, it takes so much time. Do you know that we're still busy editing little video clips? It will be literally for the whole month of November still going up.
Wow. So were there any big surprises on the road? Did you hear something or find something that you hadn't heard before?
No. What I was most gladly surprised at is that so many radio stations, podcasts, blog talk radio people just literally stepped it up. They found out about me through Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn. Those were the three real big social media venues, much more than Facebook. And people really started connecting, like private messaging and saying, "We need your email. We want to hear more." So that I thought was really kind. I had another Canadian show up in Toronto. And one of the things that I saw on it is that they really want it. People want the kindness. One of the things that stood out, maybe that's what stood out the most, Frankie, is that people are not willing to be the instigator. And I told them the instigator is positive. Stop thinking of it as negative. So, for example, I'm going to take Mary, your other guest. If Mary doesn't stop, then we don't learn from the wealth of knowledge that Mary has. So thank you, Mary, for speaking up about your journey, about MS, about learning to write with your left hand. Because if you don't share this, then the people that are alone, that can't be instigators, they are sitting there at home thinking, how do I get out of this? And because she shares, because she's an instigator of bringing her knowledge through you, Frankie and Fred, to the rest of the world, I think that's awesome. See, that's all I'm asking people to do. And people said, I don't dare to be the first one to say hello. And I said, you know, the fun part I live in a building here in Hollywood in LA, and everyone was so nice on the trip. And then you go back into a building like this and nobody looks at you and everyone just moves by. They're too fast-paced. But I continue to say, hey, hi, how was your day? And
yeah. You're so fun. You're so fun. So this is also National Adoption Month, and I know that you were adopted from your native Pakistan by a Dutch couple. Yeah. Took you to the Netherlands, and you ended up in America. So what does it mean to you, National Adoption Month? What do you want to tell people?
I'm going to be really bold here with a lot of naked, bare chest thing, if that's okay.
Gabriella is one of our authors, and I bared my chest. She's our latest author, and I bared my chest campaign, so I'm really excited. Okay, give us your bold. Give us your brave.
Okay. Adoption comes with a price. It really does. Why would the West, I'm just going to throw out the question, is why would the West consider that living in poverty within your own culture is something to be ashamed of? And I just want to leave that hanging.
Okay. Well, I think I can't let you leave that hanging for a minute because I need to ask a question. So her question was, why does the West feel that an adoption from somebody in their own country is something to be ashamed of?
No, it's opposite. So one of the questions that I hear nonstop since I brought out my first book called With All My Might, the hosts of TV shows or radio shows have asked me the question. Actually, they've told me that I am so lucky to be adopted. And I said, and what is so wrong with living in poverty in your native country? What is wrong with that picture? Why is it that the West thinks that's not okay? And I'm saying, as an answer, adoption does come with a price because you take away everything from that human being. You have stripped them from anything and everything they've ever known. Don't forget, I was 3. I was not a baby that popped out and was taken and don't know any better. I did live in a culture for 3 years, both Pakistani and European, because the orphanage was European. And what is the first thing I had to do, Frankie? The first thing I had to do was conform. They didn't take in that 10-day-old baby. No, they said, we're going to baptize you immediately, and we're going to strip you of your name. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just asking why. All I'm saying is why the hand that supposedly feeds you, the hand that says, I love you, then instantly said, but. There is a however behind I love you, I'm going to take care of you. That's the question I'm asking.
I hear you.
That's a good question.
And you had a very negative experience, and it's really unfortunate. But can I play devil's advocate?
Yeah, please, go for it.
Have you, the children that were in the orphanage with you that did not get adopted, where are they today?
I do not know, but I do know that through social media, I met one person that is the daughter of a father who was there. And he said he was quite happy.
Okay.
See, I think that the problem is not happiness. The problem is that we think there's something wrong with poverty. And I think there's something wrong with moral poverty.
Yes,
Poverty
I agree with you
is
there.
not money.
Absolutely.
It's moral poverty. People say to me, oh, you are so lucky, Gabriella. And the answer is yes and no.
And no.
And not because my family worked out or didn't work out. That is actually not the point. I'm very grateful for the education. But I feel that we need to discuss in today's world, are you adopting because you have an incredible need, or are you adopting because you have truly want to put a child first? My answer is that's usually not the case.
That's true.
Wow.
Where my problem lies. If it is for you that you are going to do a great thing, don't do it. Don't do it. Because you know what? At a certain point, your needs are met, and then come the hard part. A kid is as difficult to adopt as it is to adopt a pet. It's for life.
Yeah, and longer life than a pet.
Yeah.
And a longer life. We're going to go commercial break in less than, 30 seconds maybe. You are very provocative as usual, and you throw out some very interesting thoughts that people, should be thinking about. Absolutely. Are you adopting for you, or are you adopting for the child? Where are your motives? What is your morality, your moral temperature? And, thinking about who this kid is and who they're going to grow up to be is definitely, part. And you know what, Gabby, I think you're right. There's nothing wrong with being poor, but I think that the struggle is not necessarily the child. The struggle is the orphanage. I think they work so hard to try to find money and give kids love. But we're going to commercial. And when we come back, we're going to talk to both ladies. You'll have your chance. We're coming back. Frankie Says and More. I am your host, Frankie Picasso. Fred Bai is my co-host. We're speaking to Gabriella Van Rij and Mary L McCarthy. Be right back.
We'll be back.
Oh, we're just getting warmed up. Frankie Sense and More will be right back after we pay the bills.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
Many men and women drink diet sodas almost on a daily basis because they have 0 calories and are thought to be harmless. But the truth is, they are not harmless. The University of Texas found that people who consume just 3 diet sodas per week were more than 40% more likely to be obese. The artificial sweeteners that are in diet sodas lead to hard-to-control food urges later in the day. Another study by Purdue found that rats who were fed artificial sweeteners prior to mealtime took in more calories. Every once in a while, drinking a diet soda is fine. But if you're having them on a regular and even daily basis, it's time to switch to water or green tea. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond. To hear other fitness and weight loss tips, visit our website at AnnetteHammond.com.
The League of Women Voters reminds you that on Election Day, we are all equal. Please join your friends and neighbors by registering to vote and going to the polls November 8th. Visit www.vote411.org to find out who will be on your ballot and how the voting process works in your community. This election is about our future, and we all need to weigh in.
And we're back. Thanks for sticking around, listening to Frankie Sense and More. We're happy that you're here. I want to go back to Mary McCarthy for a moment, because in her daily journaling, Mary says that we can reduce stress and physical pain. We can overcome illness and heal emotional wounds. We can resolve inner conflicts and improve relationships. And we can gain a deeper understanding of our true, authentic self. Conquer our limiting beliefs and fears that hold us back. And that's very important. That's a big statement, a bunch of big statements to make, and important statements as well, because so many of us really in this world, all we want to know is what is our purpose. And with so much noise around us, it's very difficult to hear. So the journaling allows that to come through. Is that correct, Mary?
Oh, definitely. Like I said, the journaling is you time, me time, is taking time to just get back to center, to find out who we are, or as I like to say, who lives in our body. It's just like we're just so trained and ingrained and reinforced by society and everything on the outside to take care of the rest of the world, to do this, to strive that. And it's like journaling enables us to sit down and find out who we really are and find out, clear out all the clutter and crap that we've been carrying around with us since our childhood. When we're little kids, we're just sponges, and we soak in everything, and we think we're responsible for mommy and daddy fighting, all that kind of stuff, and we carry those things around with us till we grow up. But journaling enables us to sit down and really take a look at what happened and really understand the whole, how that affected us, and that's how it really affects us physically, helps us physically as far as reducing the stress, because the journaling helps us to understand what really happened, who we really are, and really realize that we are more powerful, more intelligent, more talented than we ever imagined. But it's just journaling affords us the opportunity to really turn off the TV, turn off the noise and all that kind of stuff, and really tune into ourselves. Though it's very scary, because it's something that's completely different than for us to do. And the biggest challenge in doing the journaling is the fear, because we think we're this and we think we can't do this. We think and it's just journaling provides the opportunity for us to return into our body, our heart and soul, and really realize who we really are.
Mm-hmm. I have a question.
Go ahead, friend.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, Gabby, you have a question too? Okay.
Yeah. I have a question.
Go ahead,
for Mary. Okay. My question, Mary, I work with a lot of young tweens and teens, and I advise them that. But tell me how I can guide them a little bit better, because they often have very humiliating trauma that either happened at school or at home, that they have a really hard time to talk about, and I think journaling is really helpful. But do you have any advice for me to help them to really do it?
I guess the one of the thoughts I have is to just have them treat themselves to a journal, and find something that and let them know that this is an opportunity for them to explore their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions. It's a gift to themselves, and that's something that as we growing up as teenagers, it's just like there was just so much other stuff going on. So I think the best thing, or one of the thoughts I have, is just to help teenagers, pick out a journal and to really just have some time each day just for connecting with themselves and just being with themselves, and just closing the door and all that type of thing, and get used to finding out who they are, as opposed to them living with and being able to deal with the hormones, the issues and everything, and really it's a tool for them to help them understand what's going on, because as we all know, teenage life is unbelievable. So It's amazing we all survive.
So you say pick out a really nice journal that in a nice pen that they like, that appeals to them. Yeah.
And get them used to, it's like focus on them, and it's okay to and then tell them then it's, as far as the journal, it's for them. They can do anything they want. If they want to just doodle, they want to draw, it's whatever they want, and just getting into the thing, or if they just want to yell and scream, or get rid of all their garbage or whatever, that's fine too. And just, I think just the go ahead.
And Mary, do you think they should tell their parents, because they often tell me that they're worried that they would read it? Do you
no.
think?
No, I highly recommend that they don't. It really. Let me just back up. It depends on the relationship they have with their parent. A couple of my clients, there's a mother and daughter. They keep their own journals, but they talk about it, and but they respect their own privacy. So it really is an individual situation based on that. But it's just like it by focusing on this for them, it's just. I think it's really.
My instinct says no. Don't tell the parent. Let them just write whatever they want to write. They want to swear. Well,
exactly. Like I said, that's why it depends on some. There's a lot of different relationships with parents and children, but it's like I think too. Just from my own perspective, if I had that, it would just be it's like okay, I'm gonna go up to my room and I'm gonna do this for me and just really, yeah. So I think that.
Ask your question, Fred.
I am. You went from being diagnosed and now the right side of your body is now 75% functional, and you no longer take prescription or over-the-counter medications. Talk to us about that process, because I know a few people who have multiple sclerosis, and I mean that's almost like miraculous, almost.
Yeah.
What happened? Tell us about that process.
Well, I was, following the good, dutiful patient, and they came out with these new drugs, and I had a nurse that came to give me a weekly shot, and one week she came or didn't come, and by that time I'd been journaling for 4 or 5 years or whatever, and I was just really beginning to more and more trust myself and understand myself, and the good thing was when she didn't come, I didn't get deathly sick for 2 days after. It's because when I was on this drug, I would be sick for 2 days after, like getting the flu, and I had to take all this over the counter stuff before, and it's like, oh wait a minute, I'm going to give this a shot. Pardon the pun.
Or not have a shot.
and it's like, hey, I'm gonna take this on myself. I thought, and I called up my doctor and said, I'm out of here. This is, I feel so good not having the shot. I'm gonna see where this goes. And it's just, and the thing is, it still was a challenge and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, I had gotten enough experience and trust in my journal. There's just like it's such a wonderful tool. I just pour out everything and just really realize how much we're just so programmed and trained that the doctors have everything and you have to go to the doctor, all this kind of stuff. Well, in doing the research and the understanding about it, these are only disease modifying or modulating type thing. There's not a cure. So it's like, why was that? And some people take a daily shot, all this kind of stuff. So it's just, like I said, it became really, it was a challenge and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, I just felt so much better not being on it. I just said, I'm out of here. And then I just, again, going back to the journaling, there's, it's like when I needed to hear something, I just one day came across a scientist in Canada who was treating his son who had MS. He had identified that there are a whole slew of things like gluten, dairy, soy, and things like that. That when you eat them, your body reacts and all that type of stuff. So he had changed his son's diet, and really the symptoms and everything settled down. So I went. In fact, it's 8 years this month that I started easing myself into that type of getting off the gluten 1 week, 1 week off the dairy. Like I said, not going cold turkey, just because it is a big behavior
process. You know what I recognized reading the book? I'm a hypnotherapist, and so as I read your book and you were talking about how you journaled and you spoke to your hand and you spoke to your hip, in hypnosis it's called parts therapy, where we actually ask the client in hypnosis to speak to those different body parts that are giving them trouble. Because it's not necessarily, as you found out, it's not the physical symptom. There could be an underlying emotional symptom that goes with that. And in your case with your hip, it wasn't just your hip. There was an emotion from childhood that attached itself to that hip. And so you release that.
Oh, definitely.
And so that is, I can totally see how this journaling, would bring the emotion, releasing, those memories as you go through your body and listen and talk to those different parts. Mm-hmm. So very interesting. The other thing that the biggest, I think, takeaway was controlling your inner critic, because for everyone who meditates, who does anything that's introspective, it's that inner critic that stops us, tells us that we're not good enough for this and you'll never amount to that. And you became a singer, and we are going to play your song. We're going to go to break in 2 minutes, but we are going to play one of your songs, you singing one of your songs when we come back, just to show people how you before MS, you would never have done that. And through journaling, you were able to tell yourself, find kindness and love for yourself enough to say, yeah, I'm going to do this.
Oh, yes. And like I said, and it goes back to what you were saying about the body parts. It says like we keep everything, all the memories, all the emotion in the cells of our body. And it's like once I did the journaling and got through it, it's like, oh, my goodness. I remembered that I always wanted to be a singer. And it's just, like I said, and then I had the courage, and it's like, okay, let's do it. So like I said, it's just an amazing tool.
That's awesome.
Right. I love these
Gabriella,
stories.
I would highly recommend you encourage those kids to write all of their fears, all of the hurt, all of the pain, everything a parent or somebody said negative to them into that journal, and tell them when that inner critic goes, yeah, you're like that. Say, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Just keep, that's not me. I'm not that. That's not it. We are going to a commercial break. We are going to come back. Stick around. You're going to hear Mary sing. That's going to be exciting. And I know Gabby has some more stories to tell us, and so does Fred. So don't go anywhere. Don't drop that ball of kindness. Pick it up. Come on. You can do it.
Yep.
Bounce, bounce, bounce. I also want to know if there's a difference between morning notes and night notes, or morning journal, or morning pages and night notes. When we come back. Here we go.
Heck no. We're just getting warmed up. Frankie Sense and More will be right back after we pay the bills.
It's words you never heard.
Have you ever found yourself on an airplane seated next to a nonstop talker that you really don't have anything at all in common with? When I fly, I usually want to catch up on my reading and not have to listen to an explatterator. It's even worse if they're a philodox. That's a person who just loves their own opinion. Well, now a Facebook app lets you choose your own seatmate before you fly. According to an article in USA Today, social media startups are bringing together compatible flyers before they take their seats. That's good news for people lovers, otherwise known as philodemics. A number of apps such as Planely and Satisfy are helping travelers meet not only online, but in person. Think the Match.com of travel. I love flying and have been to almost as many places as my luggage.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
At any given time, millions of Americans are on a diet and on a quest to lose weight. Discovery Health says that the only way to lose fat is to consume fewer calories per day than your body needs. For every 3,500 calories that your body takes from its fat reserves, you lose 1 pound. You can create that deficit by monitoring and restricting your intake of calories alone. But I believe that the best approach is to exercise and cut back on your calories. By upping your daily exercise and scaling back on your consumption of calories, you are giving yourself a healthy balance that will pay off great dividends. So be sure to add daily exercise to your quest to lose weight. Health, well-being, and a slim body awaits you. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond. To hear other fitness and weight loss tips, visit our website at AnnetteHammond.com.
And we're back. You're listening to Frankie Sense and More. I'm your host, Frankie Picasso. I'm here with my co-host, Fred Bai, and Mary L McCarthy, as well as Gabriella Van Rij. She's here too. One of the things that Mary did for herself through her journaling was find something that, she went back to something that she really loved to do, and that was to sing. And offline, we were just talking about how that singing really helped with her breathing because of the MS, and so now she can get a breath. And she actually said she has a 5-octave range, which is pretty impressive, I think. So we're going to cue up her song. Karina, you're going to play it. Make Me Feel Your Love.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear and there's no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for 1,000,000 years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met. No doubt in my mind where you belong. I go hungry, I go black and blue, I go crawling down the avenue. There's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love.
Wow, Mary, good job.
Wow. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job. Who accompanied you?
I've been working with a fantastic guy for about the last 10 years. He's a consummate musician, and he does his strength and love is arranging and doing all that. So he got all the top musicians that he knew of to do all the musical work on it.
Nice.
Wow.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Tackling Adele is a big job.
I'm sorry?
I said tackling Adele is a big job. Good for you. Gabby, what's on your agenda this month? What are we going to look forward to?
Well, I am going to, it's actually harder than you think to find adoption agencies.
Oh.
They're less and less and less because everyone goes to foreign countries. So I reach out to adoptees that might want to talk, just simply talk. And I would like to reach out to foster care and maybe speak to a couple of adoptee organizations, right? Whether it's for the children. I think at the moment I'd like to publicly speak to the parents because that's where I could guide the most. And with the kids, I just like to do the one-on-ones very, very much. And I have a big speaking engagement in Santa Barbara. With,
yes, you do.
Women Economic Forum, it's called.
Yay.
It's the 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. 4 days.
That's exciting.
And so it's women from all over the world, and we are talking how we can make the world a better place.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and I'm supposed to speak with them in India in May. I'm pretty excited about that. Hoping it all works out.
Yeah, in May?
Yeah, I'm supposed to. I'm on their advisory council. Yeah.
Are you going with Maura? Because she's going too.
And Alex. Yeah.
It's awesome.
I know. So that's great.
Are you going to the Netherlands too?
No, not to the Netherlands. May is kind of iffy because my daughter's wedding's coming up like in June, so it's like, oh my God, big trip, big wedding. But yeah.
Hey, it's interesting, Gabriella, because on your blog you talk about women in being too kind, being sometimes they feel guilty for. And I paraphrase it, but you speak about women sometimes they feel almost guilty for not thinking more about themselves, right?
Yes, I think that's our education too. I was brought up as a Catholic, so we did for others instead of doing for ourselves. And I think that is a big shift inside, just like Mary is talking about. You have to let go. I always like saying, the truth is that I compare drivers. When you have a driver that has their foot more on the brake pedal, when you want to go from A to B, you press the gas pedal. And everyone knows that drives a car. But we don't do it with our lives. We don't press on the gas pedal. See, because that we end up not doing it because it's so scary to let go. It's so scary to go on a campaign with not knowing what the results are. But you know what? The results are always whatever it is that you want to make it to be. Because it ended up being fine and great. And by the way, talk about music. We have a theme song.
Oh.
Yeah. From, I want to talk about that.
What is it?
There's a Dare to Be Kind theme song, and I'll Twitter it to you later.
Okay. All right.
And
looking forward to it.
That was the biggest, oh my God, I was so honored, Frankie and Fred. Mary, music is amazing, Mary. I mean, wow, I couldn't sing a note. I'm allowed to sing in the shower, maybe.
And you're singing the theme song?
No. Oh, my goodness, no. Oh, my God, nobody would want to do that. Don Lawson is the lyric songwriter, the musician, the voice, everything. He did everything out of the blue. He found the campaign, had been following me on Twitter, and then he did take all my lyrics. So I thought that was really, really, he used the words, every word that I have, and then turned it into magic.
Nice. Wow. That's awesome. That's what a gift, really. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's an honor. It's like, wow. So that's my highlight for me. But the other highlight is, of course, the kids.
Yeah, his name, the singer's name is Don Lawson, right?
Yes, if you do the @ Don Lawson, LAWSON music. That's his Twitter handle.
I sent him a request to be on my show.
Nice.
I want him on my show.
And Gabriella's website, Gabriella.global, if you want to check her out, Gabriella.global, go there and you can see all the wonderful things that she's doing there too. I one of the things I tell you, I had a child who lived with us. She was a foster kid. Had a really bad foster parent. She lived down the street from us. She was a friend of my daughter's, and so I took her in. And then Children's Aid came and said, well, you can't have her. We're going to take her. And then they said, no, why don't you keep her? Because we don't have anywhere for her to go. And this red tape bullshit, that went around. All you want to do is look after this child, make sure they're safe. Mm-hmm. And all they cared about was all the red tape. It was so frustrating. And they go, well, we can't pay you. I go, I didn't ask you for money. But, now you're asking me to take a kid to live with me. I was a single mom at the time. I had 3 kids. I had another one living with us and this child. And, your organization gets money. I'm not looking for money to look after this child, but I am feeding a child. And you're paying a foster parent, but now you don't want to pay me, and it's red tape. And I didn't care. But the whole thing was just so ridiculous in my head. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then they wanted you to take her indefinitely.
Yeah.
But they could come and take her tomorrow too. It's stupid.
Yeah. It's unorganized organization that we have to deal with.
Yeah. They're not putting the welfare of the child first.
No, they're not.
Not at all.
And we don't think of kindness in communities anymore. The body system. At that moment, you stepped it up to be the difference in someone's life, right?
Yeah.
And all that matters, that the state keeps an eye on it and says, hey, Frankie, do you need anything? Child doing good, great, next. But
she went to private school. She went to a Catholic school. She needed uniforms. I said, I can't afford her uniforms. You're going to have to pay for her uniforms. I couldn't afford that. I was a single mom. And, they go, okay, well, we'll pay for her uniform. I go, that's good. Thanks. Because she's still your ward. She's not mine, and I would have preferred that they just give her to me. It would have been a lot easier.
But do you see how that makes a child feel, though, in the future?
I know.
That child remembers you for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Right.
And she does.
It does.
She's married, has a baby now. She reaches out. Yeah.
She will talk about you. By the time she's 60, she will still talk about you, Frankie.
True.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to remember. It's not for the accolades that we have. It's to be the difference so that they then can step it up for someone else.
That's right. It's just unfortunate that there's so much politics involved and not, thoughtfulness involved. And I think that's the main thing,
Tell me how we can take it out.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. We started that in the government here, the red tape commission to get rid of red tape, and we need to get rid of red tape everywhere because it's just, it binds people. It stops progress, stops goodness. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's the end of our show, and I got to say goodbye to Mary L. McCarthy. I got to say goodbye to Gabriella Van Rij, and I got to say goodbye to Fred. Sorry. Yeah. But I'm so glad that you all came to visit and play in our sandbox today. And thank you, everybody else who was listening. We appreciate you coming back each and every week. Take care, everybody.
All right.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Frankie. Take care.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Gabriella.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Gabriella.
It's awesome.
Thank you so much, guys.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. You take care.
Thank you.
Hit Rash Production.
Shina you,